Hey guys, welcome back to the Bayside Fabrication YouTube channel. Today we are going to build an exhaust for the Porsche 996. Now you might be asking yourself, Ben, why are you building an exhaust for the Porsche? Well, motor's still in the car. I have a jig already for a Porsche 996. I actually used to build 996 exhaust for a local guy who did track days, and he had me use his as a template essentially, and then I made a jig off that and built probably about 7 or 8 for some of his buddies. However, he wanted them to be like a budget exhaust, so he was using mild steel tubing and wanted it MIG welded, so it was kind of a weird thing. I wasn't really into them, but it was a good opportunity, I suppose. But with that being said, I have the jig for it, so I figured, well, why not build a badass stainless steel exhaust for this car, throw it on, get some sound clips, see how if it's not too loud or if it's more of a race car exhaust. I mean, we're gonna see. The mufflers are pretty small, and just see how it goes, and if it's something I can sell and manufacture moving forward. Like I said, it's a no-brainer at this point to do stuff like this, especially while I'm kind of waiting to get this motor sold. It's a perfect opportunity to do that. So let me show you what the car has on it now. I actually have a Fab Speed exhaust on it. It's not something I would ever purchase. This is like a $3,700 exhaust, brand new. So you can see this is a dual cat version, which is where most of the money comes from on these. But yeah, it's a nice little exhaust, but I think we can build a really good option here. This is loud, and it's just a decent overall exhaust. Like I said, I wouldn't spend that kind of money on it personally, but when you build everything yourself, then it's one of those deals where you don't have to. So what we're gonna do is we'll do a few sound clips of this one, and just because it's the only thing I have to compare it to, we'll do a Fab Speed catted exhaust versus the exhaust that we're building now. So let me show you what we're going to be using here. We're essentially going to be using just a bunch of bends and making a octopus looking thing. So this is all stuff I got at my local speed shop, and it's all vibrant stuff, which is, it's okay. Okay material. And let me show you the mufflers we got. Now they had two options. They had 9-inch and they had 5-inch. So these are the 5-inch versions, and I think they're going to be too small, but I also don't know if I can get away with installing a 9-inch. But we're gonna find out one way or another. So let me grab the jig and we'll start getting this exhaust assembled. All right guys, so here's a little glimpse of how this is gonna get laid out. We have these really nice flanges here that are laser cut. I'll show you one right now. So these are the flanges. It's actually a 2¼ inch opening here, but we're using 2½ inch tubing, and then we're gonna taper that to a 3-inch. All right, so check this out. We cut one of these down here, and now we'll trace this one, and then that's how you make an X-pipe in a really simple way. All right, there's our X-pipe. You can see right there, straight shot, right through. So we're just gonna keep all this stuff tacked together and make sure everything's gonna fit before we finish weld anything on this. All right, check it out guys. We've got our X-pipe on here. We have just a couple small pieces of stainless we had to kind of pie cut in to get them to fit. So as you can see, our 3-inch these are going to be our tips here. These come out here. Obviously they're going to be cut short, but for now we have these really nice cones. So this is a 2 to 3 inch reducer. So the cone's going to get welded on, muffler's going to get welded on, and then we'll cut this down. And our 3-inch will slide into the little race muffler here. And just so price reference, cost-wise, like these bends are like $45 a pop, stuff like that. So, none of this stuff's cheap. All the material here material alone cost me about $500. So, you know, it's not cheap to build this stuff. So when you go to an exhaust shop, you want something custom made, and you know, you get a price that's like, you know, $1,500 or $2,000. Well, you got to imagine the materials alone are probably at least a third of the price. And as you can see, these are very labor intensive deals. All right, guys, I know it looks like we got a mess here, but we are at our final tube here for fitment, and we're gonna tack it all up. So you can see it fits pretty darn good here. And this side's already done as far as fitment's concerned. It, but it's just a, you know, driving inside, windows up kind of sound of the Fab Speed exhaust. Now we're not getting crazy. There's, you know, traffic and people everywhere, but this is just kind of putting around town. Just the average sound of the exhaust inside the cockpit. It's not too bad. I mean, it's a little droney, especially on the highway. It's a little, you know, it's not relaxing, that's for sure. But it's also, for, you know, a sport exhaust with no mufflers, it's pretty good. Well, now that we got the car up to full operating temperature, we're going to touch the exhaust. Now I'm going to jack it up, throw a fan on it, let it cool off a little bit, and we'll pull this exhaust off. It's 8 bolts, really no big deal. And we'll get the other one on, make sure it fits, weld the other one up, let the other one cool down, and hopefully we'll have a cool sounding exhaust. I mean, if it sounds as good as this Fab Speed, I'm going to be thrilled. So we're just going to see how those mufflers do. I have a feeling it's going to be a little louder, which I'm not really, I mean, it's a little loud on the loud side of things for, you know, a street car, but some people like that stuff, you know? All right, here's the Fab Speed exhaust. I'll just hold it up next to ours. So I just gotta grab these O2 sensors. The only thing I need to do is get a couple fouler's for the post cats, because I obviously don't have cats on this. So we'll just put O2 fouler's. Is essentially just a spacer, and it kind of tricks the O2 sensor for the post cat reading. Just prevents check engine light, really. Performance wise, doesn't do much. This will get this nice golden color just like the Fab Speed here. Obviously it's just stainless steel. And it's bare right now, but once it gets some heat in it, it will have a, you know, change into a really nice color, just like this does. So let's get this bolted on. We're gonna get our O2 sensor locations marked out, and get the O2 sensor bungs tacked into place, and make sure everything fits really nice. Get a final measurement. I mean, not a final measurement, but we'll get the tips kind of squared away. I think just from the looks of it, these are gonna stick way out. So I think we'll probably cut them back quite a bit and just have a nice clean looking exhaust here. Nothing flashy, nothing too crazy, but it'll be super functional. And it should actually be putting down a little more power because we are running mufflers instead of the high flow cats here. So that's the goal, actually, is to be able to free up a little more power for those track cars. All right, so there it is. We're finished. I'm just kidding, guys. Obviously, there's a ton of exhaust pipe hanging out, so we're gonna cut it back. It's not too bad. Like I said, this is the first time I've seen it. It looks good from underneath. So we'll just mark up the exhaust. Could sit a little bit higher. We might do some small tweaks here and there. This is all good up in here. I mean, it's tight, but it's it clears. So cool, man. All right, guys. So what we're doing is, like I said before, we're leaving the mufflers. We're actually gonna pop these off, and I need to gain and or not gain, but raise this like maybe an inch. I want to have a nice tuck up against the bumper. Right now it just hangs a little low and looks a little goofy. So that's not hard to do. Been welding a bunch, just want to show you the current state of it. I popped the mufflers and the tips off just because I do have to tweak those because they just aren't fitting like I showed you before. But this is almost, actually it might be, I just gotta do the flanges. We gotta finish up the flanges, but it's looking pretty good. All right, as you can see, it's dark out now, but I got my O2 sensors tacked into place. So we're gonna throw it back on and make sure the O2 sensor is clear. Also, we have modified our exhaust tips. So I think I'm gonna cut these back and do a couple pie cuts and just kind of do like a little turn down. Just a little, give it a little something. What I decided to do for tips, it's just a slight little turn down. So we're just doing a couple pie cuts, just kind of give it like a cool little look. And, you know, just imagine that turn down, or cut back rather, but it's just gonna go, you know, something like that. Just give it a little something, you know? Okay, got our tips finished. All right, we have our tips here. And now I have one just tacked into place just to see, and it looks, it's hard to tell from this angle, but it needs to go in just a little bit. I don't want it sticking out really past the bumper like it is, so I'm just gonna pop it in like 3/4 of an inch, not much, but just to kind of flush it up a little bit. That should be close enough. But that's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. That looks much better. All right, let's plug in these O2 sensors and fire it up. So guys, it actually doesn't sound that much different than the Fab Speed. I think it's gonna be a little snappier. I gotta let it warm up. I'm not gonna let it warm up too much because I gotta pull it back off to finish up the welds. But I think it's gotta be good. Let's get this thing welded up so we can actually drive it. All right, guys, here it is. The first cold start. Completed exhaust. The only thing I'm missing is the 2 clamps that go onto the, there's a little stainless brace there. I just have to go get some, a couple heavy duty hose clamps, and that should do the trick. All right, so first impressions, it's definitely louder. my check engine light went on because I don't have my Fowlers in for my secondary O2 sensors. So the post-cat sensors are just plugged in like normal, so you'll get that with doing that. Okay, that's different. Okay. In between shifts, it does like this whop that it didn't do before. I mean, this is an all business exhaust. 2.5 inch to 3 inch mufflers, and that's it. And they're race mufflers, they're this big. I think, like, cruising is not much different. Like, there might be a little more drone, but like this, driving, just cruising around at 2,500 RPMs is really, I don't really notice much difference, to be honest with you. So it's definitely a little raspier, that's for sure. A little more edge to it than the Fab Speed catted exhaust, which is to be expected. Pops and bangs if you give it just a little more partial throttle on D-cell, that's for sure. Well, that's gonna do it for this exhaust video. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little exhaust I made here. If it's something you want to buy, let me know. It's definitely a race only exhaust. I mean, it's all business, that's for sure. If it's something that you might be interested in, feel free to send me a message and we can work out a price and everything on it. But for now, I think it's gonna do the trick. Like I said, I have a few guys interested in this motor, and I'm really trying to hang on as long as I can before popping the K in. But you know, as the days go on, it gets a little more realistic that I should just pull it out and get the K going. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.